not used to working cooperatively in the classroom. And we need to take into account that. Are you listening to me? Hi.
Loud and clear. Loud and clear.
Oh, okay, because I heard a noise. Yes, you can hear me very well. Right. Well, the idea is that learning is not an individual act. It is a social act. We learn together. And normally in the traditional model, students sit separated from one another, and they have a type of individual learning in which they do not have the opportunity to work together and to share information and to share strategies. So in all the activities proposed by drama, cooperation is always present. Another important 21st century competence is critical thinking. Drama teaches students how to think so that the students develop thinking skills. And also, it stimulates creativity. We need to be creative more than ever because the students should use their imagination. And besides, it takes into consideration emotions. I have just said that it is a powerful tool for this type of development. The students, first of all, should control their emotions in order to be able to control their peers. Why? Because they are always working together, so that we need to create a special positive atmosphere so that everybody can work together satisfactorily. And also, drama improves communication skills. This is another competence that should be present, of course, in every field, in every subject at school. That's why drama should be used in every subject. Today, there are many teachers who are not very fond of using drama because they think that it is just used, for example, when we are having a celebration at school. No, it should be part of the process of learning in any subject because the results are really great. Well, we are teaching English, so our aim is to teach our students to use English effectively. Well, so we need to teach them communication skills. And communication means the use of speaking and listening. When we are using drama, there are certain benefits that should be taken into account because it is important to know why am I supposed to use drama. Remember that when I started, I said that some teachers prefer technology because they don't realize how important drama is, because with technology we cannot create this emotional bond that is crucial in the process of learning. We need to be prepared emotionally for teaching and for learning. Well, for example, drama has a holistic approach. This means that it takes into consideration the individual as a whole, with his mind, body, and emotions. It articulates doing, thinking, and feeling. This means that it brings together body, mind, and emotions. And this is very important to create this atmosphere. For me, it is crucial. And through the ideas that I'm going to mention today, you will realize how important this is. Well, it cultivates multiple intelligences. Well, Gardner redefined intelligence as a group of abilities that can be developed. We have 8 different types of intelligences, and they are present in every individual. And of course, what is unique is the combination, because some are more dominant than others. So our aim is to discover this potential in our students. In the traditional model, this is usually ignored. Today is crucial, because if we discover them while they are at school, they will be able to cultivate them permanently through life. Well, it promotes emotional intelligence. We cannot, as I said before, use our emotions correctly if they are not cultivated. Of course, that emotional intelligence should be present at home, but they should be reinforced during the process of learning at school. It makes use of multisensory learning. Multisensory learning allows the students to have all the senses alert. You know that we have different types of learners, for example, visual, auditory. So according to the senses that are more dominant, they will take advantage of this and take them into consideration when they are learning. Well, drama is considers inclusive learning. This means that it values diversity and takes into consideration students' needs. And this is very important because today we are having different types of learners in our classrooms. And in this case, drama is a good equalizer. In fact, all arts are equalizers. Why? Because regardless of ability or disability, music, dance, painting, theater are accessible to all types of students. This means that all students can learn in the same way using these different tools that belong to the arts. It makes use of metacognitive strategies, and I think that this is very, very important because normally, as teachers, we should these strategies to reflect on our own teaching. It is very important because we become active observants of our own practices. And we share this with our colleagues. So when we share information, when we share different types of teaching practices with our colleagues, this is a way of improving our own job in the classroom. So we should encourage our students to use them to improve their learning. So this is a way of helping them to become autonomous. One of our main aims in teaching is to help them to become independent. Well, if they use this type of strategies, they will be able to assess their own learning, they will discover their weaknesses, and they will work together in order to improve their learning. And this is very, very important because they become autonomous. Well, it favors cooperative work. Studies indicate that there are two stages in this type of activity. First of all, there is an interpersonal stage in which the students learn together. Remember that I have said that learning is a social act. I need others to develop my learning. So the students, when they are together, create a sort of a framework that is very useful to support one another. So in this way, they share strategies, styles of learning, information, and gradually they gain confidence. So they reach to the second stage that is intrapersonal. This means that they no longer need the support and they become autonomous. Well, it fosters creativity. It helps the students think in different ways. That is to say, to use lateral thinking. Why? Because drama is always encouraging students to unleash their imagination. And when you propose students to do activities in which creativity is present, you can't imagine what they can do. The thing is that if they are permanently stimulated to use drama, the results are really great. And all I'm telling you about is based on my own experience because I have used drama for ages and the results are really more than satisfactory. That's why today I want to share all my experience to you so that you will be able to use, or at least to start trying drama if you have never used that before. And gradually through your contact with your students and this use of drama, you will realize how great this tool is. Well, it is meaningful Why it is meaningful? Because drama applies what the students learn to real-life situations. So learning becomes practical and relevant and memorable. Drama brings the real world into the classroom. Drama makes content come to life because it deals with authentic material. It is also a flexible technique because it fits perfectly well in any area of the timetable. That's why I insist that it should be present in all the school subjects, in history, in science, in maths, in chemistry. Sometimes teachers ask me, in chemistry, is this possible? Yes, it is possible. The children or the students in general become more connected with what they are learning, because sometimes when they are dealing with chemistry, it is difficult to grasp this instruction the teacher is giving or the content that she's explaining. But when the students, becomes involved in what they are doing, well, there is when learning takes place. Well, and of course, it develops communication skills. What is communication? Communication is the exchange of ideas and thoughts. And when we are communicating, the two skills that are highly developed, of course, are listening and speaking. But it is not only these two skills that are improved. When students are using the language, because the type of activities that we use in drama are connected with this type of skills, speaking and listening all the time. That's why it is the tool for learning a language, because the students are permanently speaking and listening. They not only develop these skills, as I was saying, they also take into consideration that they are able to improve their pronunciation. They are able to recognize the paralinguistic information that is present in the messages, and also they identify the body language that we're using. These elements are not normally taught when we are teaching English. And this is very important because they convey information that sometimes is much more important than the words themselves. I'm going to give you an example. It's a pity that you cannot see me right now, but I'm going to dramatize and imagine what I'm doing. The same word can express different meanings according to the way I'm using. So what is important is not the words that I'm using, that is to say what I say, but how I say things. And that how is not normally present when we are teaching communication skills. Imagine what I'm saying, taking into consideration my tone of voice and imagine my body language. You ask me, who phoned you? And I say, the teacher. So by the tone of voice, you cannot see me, but you imagine that by my tone of voice, I'm very happy that she phoned me, right? Well, now the same question, but I say, the teacher. Well, I was not very pleased, really, because my tone of voice is telling me that. Or the same question, and I answer, the teacher. So probably I made something wrong at school and she phoned me, so I'm terrified. You see? So although I'm using the same word, I'm expressing different meanings. So this information, this non-verbal information should also be part of communication skills, especially today because English is used as a lingua franca. This means that we need to understand different accents, and sometimes it is difficult to grasp the meaning of English being used by a non-native speaker because pronunciation may not be clear enough. So I depend on this non-verbal language. So it should be included in our teaching. Okay. Now, what are the roles of the teacher when she is interested in using drama in the classroom? First of all, she takes a background role. She's no longer in the center of the class. She takes a different role in which she's a facilitator, she's a monitor, so that she lets the students organize. Of course, first of all, she needs to give the necessary instructions so as to let them work independently, right? And this is important. But the idea is that the class is no longer teacher-centered, it is student-centered. It is a process that we need to follow very gradually, because the students need to create habits to this type of activities. The teacher makes language learning more accessible to learners. Why? Because we are working cooperatively all the time. And when we are working cooperatively, we know that the aim is to help them become autonomous, because working together, they improve their learning. Enlivens the class with creative ideas. Why? Because she's always instilling creativity in the classroom. This means that creativity is a habit, not an occasion. Creativity is always floating in the air. And when students become in contact with creativity, it becomes a tool in the classroom, because we are encouraging this creative side they have always present, but it should be revealed. How is this creativity? We are all creative. We all are born with this capacity. But the thing is that it should be cultivated. So a way of cultivating this creativity that is present inside us, well, is just using drama. Okay. Triggers learners' curiosity. I think that an element of surprise should always be present in our classes. For example, before starting the class, during the break, I may leave an object on the desk or just a sign on the board. And I leave the classroom till the bell rings. So the students, when they see the object or the sign, they are already curious about it, because they want to know why I have left this on the desk or on the board. So curiosity is already present. The first step to learning is attention. When the students are paying attention, this means that motivation is activated. And when the students are intrinsically motivated, curiosity is awakened. It is like that. And when students are curious, learning is much better, because they are eager to know how something will be presented. In this case, this mysterious object. And when the teacher starts the class, that object or that sign that he put before starting the class becomes part of the lesson plan. It is as simple as that. Well, she gives learners voice and choice. Why voice and choice? It is very important to listen to our students. Sometimes, because we are in a hurry, we do not pay the attention they deserve. We should become active listeners. Why? Because sometimes they communicate messages without expressing a word. I always say that we need to listen to our students not only with our eyes, but also with our ears. We need to watch also their body language. Body language is very meaningful. According to studies, 55% of what we say is transmitted through body language, through our gestures. 38% through the tone of voice, and only 7% to words. In the example I gave you with a teacher, it clearly shows how powerful body language is. Well, encouraging students to face and respond to challenges. Why? Well, this is very important because the teacher helps students to step aside the comfort zone, and she wants them to become proactive students. A proactive student, for example, is fond of getting new information, is confident, takes risks, is inquisitive, is ready to change. He's always on the move because he's very enthusiastic. This is the ideal type of students that we want to have in our classes. We do not like students who remain seated in our classroom without producing a word. Although we may encourage them to say a word, sometimes they remain silent because they are shy, and especially in a class where they are learning a foreign language, this may indicate that they are afraid of committing mistakes. So they remain silent, and probably they have important things to say. So if we encourage them in this way, I think that this shyness that is present will vanish immediately. Enhances failure and emphasizes practice. Well, error correction is very important in the classroom. Mistakes are part of the process. We should not punish mistakes. That's why students are shy, and sometimes they do not want to participate because they are afraid of being laughed at by their peers also. And normally when we correct mistakes, they are usually corrected after they are committed. And this is a big mistake we are committing ourselves. Why? Because if a student is speaking and we interrupt because they have made a mistake, we are interrupting the flow of thought. So they won't be able to go on speaking because what he organized before the interruption has vanished immediately. So what we need to do is to accompany the student in his speech so that if there is a mistake, it should be highlighted. For example, the teacher asks the student to tell the class what he did yesterday. And he says, well, yesterday I went to the supermarket and I bought a candy. So the tendency, because sometimes we cannot help that, and we say, no, buy, it's bought. The presence of buy is bought. Okay, say buy, bought. The same as bring, brought, you see? Okay, don't forget, go on. Oh, and we realize that the students cannot go on because he's not able to organize his ideas again. So what we can do is to become part of the conversation, and after the utterance, I buy a candy, I may become part and say, oh, you bought a candy, how nice. Did you buy anything else? So there I'm showing through my highlighting that there was a mistake. So indirectly, I'm telling you this. Well, the students may go and say, yes, and I buy a chocolate. Again, the mistake. Oh, and I say, you bought a chocolate. That's great. Yummy, yummy. Did you buy anything else? And there he may say, yes, I bought a Coke. Good. So got it. So in this way, I think that it is a milder way of correcting mistakes. And they enjoy that because they can go on speaking and they are not afraid of committing mistakes. Whenever a student is afraid of committing mistakes, they do not want to try new ideas. They do not want to participate because they know that they will be punished. A punishment for them is the correction, this abrupt correction, and they are not allowed to speak freely. Now, the type of English we are having at the moment, that is a global language, pronunciation mistakes are more important than grammar mistakes. Of course, that the more they know about the code of English, it is much better because they will be able to communicate more effectively. But if I say, for example, I don't want nothing, do you understand? Yes, you do. But you immediately detect that I have made a mistake in one of the rules of English. But if I say, for example, what? Sorry, I don't understand. So I have to start negotiating in order to get to a meaning to that. So gradually through this type of negotiation, we can agree and understand what the speaker means. Okay, allow second chances and third. This means that when mistakes are allowed in the classroom, the students have the possibility of trying again as a failure. this teacher understands that they have different styles of learning. The class is not a homogeneous group. Each group is made up of different types of students with different personal characteristics, which define the group they belong to. That's why if I organize or if I prepare an activity for course A, and then the same activity is used in course in group B, I may say, well, I was successful with group A, but the activity did not work at all with group B. I don't know why. Well, the reason is simple. We are working with different groups of students with different needs. So what I need to do is to prepare activities according to the needs of the students. So in this way, no doubt that we will be successful. Okay, are you following me? Yes?
Yes.
All right, okay. As I continue, I want to know if you are following me. Okay, well, what are the qualities of a teacher who is using drama? Sorry. First of all, she's a mold breaker. And this is great because she's boldly original. As creativity is always present in the classroom, it is always floating in the air. She always brings new ideas, and this allows the students to awaken their curiosity. She is approachable. This means that she's friendly and easy to talk to. She creates a positive atmosphere, and she creates rapport. That is to say, this feeling of understanding that is necessary between teacher and students and their peers. So in these ways, we are able to create this pleasant atmosphere, this emotionally positive atmosphere. I think that we cannot start teaching or learning without this type of atmosphere. What else? She's flexible. Well, I think that all teachers are flexible. In our daily practices at school, we have a variety of incidents that may cause class derailment. That is to say, our lesson plan cannot be developed fully. For example, an unexpected meeting with the headmaster, a student with a personal problem that he has brought to school, and he is asking the teacher for some advice, or, for example, a minor accident. All these are always present, and all teachers are very, very flexible for that. But when a teacher uses drama, she's particularly interested in the needs of the students. And also, she takes into consideration the student's brain. Sometimes students may say, oh, please, miss, do not take a test tomorrow. We don't understand this very clearly. So the teacher may say, oh, don't you understand? This is so easy. Come on. I think that you are rather lazy. I think that you should study harder. Wow. What an answer. Well, the thing is that we are doing this because we are reasoning, we are using our brains, not theirs. And remember that there is a generation gap. And we are able to understand this quickly because we have been dealing with this content for ages, and we are able to reason in a different way. That's why it is important to take into consideration their brains. Well, of course, that one of the qualities, we have been talking about this, she's creative. Creativity is always present. She cannot organize an activity. She cannot tell the student to do any type of exercise in the classroom without this creative touch. Well, she's open. She's open because she is willing to consider the opinions and ideas of others. She does not try to impose her own ideas. Sometimes teachers want the students to do an activity following the instructions that she has given. so that no creativity is allowed. Of course, that the students need to be given instructions before an activity, but these instructions should welcome creativity. These instructions should not leave creativity outside the activity, right? Well, she's supportive. This means that great teachers help create great students. It is this type of teacher is interested in knowing how students learn, is interested in knowing the different types of learning the students are using, because through this understanding, she will be able to improve her own learning. That's why we need to pay attention how they learn in order to improve my own teaching. Well, she's passionate. Why she's passionate? Because she's in love with teaching. She's in love with drama. And a passionate teacher inspires her students. She's also enthusiastic. And this is contagious, because when a teacher is enthusiastic, she's always on the move. She is full of energy and of different types of interests. And enthusiasm connotes a motivating, a dynamic, productive type of teaching style. And she's also empathetic. She always puts herself in her students' shoes in order to understand them. That's why, as I said before, she's a good communicator. She's a good listener. And for this, she acts as a counselor. She acts as a coach, because she accompanies the students to develop their own potentials and to become autonomous. Only if she is empathetic, if she understands her students, she will be able to be successful in these aims that she wants to achieve with her students. Okay, now, there is a question here that we should ask. What is the most important resource we have in our classrooms? The students. The students. Why? Because the students are always showing their imaginations, their opinions, their interests, their dreams, their hopes. That's why we need to empower them. And when we empower them, this means that we love them. And when we feel passion for them, we listen to them, we observe them, we value them. In a word, we empower them. So in this way, they feel more confident, because they know that they can. So this constant encouragement that we are giving to them, it is very important, because sometimes the students feel frustrated because they cannot communicate effectively using the language, for example, or they cannot do the activities the teacher is proposing because their skills are a bit weaker. No, we have to highlight the positive aspects of their learning so that they will be able to treat the weaknesses and go on improving. So what are the roles of the students when he's using drama? First of all, he discovers, or they discover, their creative selves. This means that they recognize their own potentials. When we are engaged in a drama activity, suppose that we are preparing a play to be performed, every student uses his potential. For example, those who have a musical intelligence, well, they will use that intelligence for playing an instrument. If they are kinesthetic, well, they will dance. If they are spatial learners, they will use that to consider the setting, how to organize the setting to perform the play. So every student uses their own potential. That's why drama is so powerful. Well, they sharpen their senses because they discover which senses are more dominant and they use them. Well, the teacher is permanently encouraging the use of creativity, so they unleash their imagination naturally, so that lateral thinking is highly developed. They respond to challenges. Why? Because the teacher wants them to be proactive. So they step outside the comfort zone and they take risks and they enjoy adventure because they are not inside the box. They have the freedom to be creative. They have the freedom to speak. They have the freedom to be themselves. And they experiment with language. I always say that the classroom should become a laboratory where they experiment with language. And they experience a lot of trial and error. That's why errors are part of the process, because while they are experimenting with language, of course, naturally, mistakes appear. But they know that they can treat them so as to improve their learning. I always say that we should devote some time of our classes to correct mistakes cooperatively, all together, because usually students have mistakes that are common. They have the same type of mistakes. So after the test, for example, normally after the test, we may be pressed for time and we go on with the new content without considering the mistakes the students have made in the test. I think that if we devote time to revise the content that was tested, I think that we are helping our students to understand much better what they are learning, and they will be able to understand what is coming after this test. So it is valuable time that we are using for error correction. Well, they reveal their strengths and weaknesses. Well, why? Because they are using metacognitive strategies. They can evaluate their own learning, and they can work and they can treat their weaknesses in order to make learning easier. Well, the teacher teaches them to work cooperatively. All the activities are in groups or in teams. I always say that there are two types of noises. The bad noise that is present in a class when the students are demotivated. They are not interested in what the teacher is saying. Well, this type of noise is not the one we prefer. We prefer another type of noise, the type of noise that is good when students are working all together and there is a murmuring in the air that indicates that they are working together. This is productive noise, because we know that they are making a good noise because they are creating. They are doing something that will help their learning. It is as simple as that. When you start using drama, you will realize that all that I'm saying at the moment is permanently present, is permanently floating in the air. And of course, the teacher insists that error correction is fundamental in the class. Errors are part of the process. They are not punished. They are welcome, because they need to know that they are part of the learning process and that they improve their learning. We cannot learn without committing mistakes. That's why they make errors work. They treat errors together, and in this way they improve. what are the qualities of students when they are involved in this type of activities? Well, they are intrinsically motivated. One of our tasks is to prepare the students for the process of learning. If we prepare ourselves for example, for an interview or for an important social event, why we do not have this sort of preparation when we are in the classroom? Well, we are responsible for this intrinsic motivation. But in the case of this type of classes, the students get intrinsically motivated immediately because they are expectant, they are curious already. That's why they are curious thinkers. Curiosity is key in learning, because when they are curious, they are ready to learn. They become inquisitive. This is a characteristic of a proactive learner. They are asking questions all the time. For example, in the traditional model, the students are accustomed to answering questions, not to asking questions. And we know that questions are related to knowledge, not answers. The students learn by asking questions, not by answering them. The student is a risk taker. Why? Because the teacher has taught him to step out of the comfort zone. He's fond of challenges because he's proactive. In this way, he becomes an explorer of knowledge because he's always experimenting, investigating. In a word, he becomes a lifelong learner. This means that he will be interested in new information permanently. Well, in fact, we are learners all the time. We are learning a new thing every single day. Well, they are independent, of course. Remember that the cooperative work is the first stage to become independent. Well, creativity, of course, they are creative because the teacher has been working a lot to instill this creativity in their minds. And of course, when you are creative, you are open to change because he's always looking for new ideas. And it is important here, when we have this type of proactive student, serendipity occurs. Serendipity is the discovery of something just by chance. This is what happens when we are looking for information. We are searching the net, and because we want specific information, we Google it, and when we get the link, we find that there are related topics to the one we are interested in. And we also try to investigate these related links, and we discover that the information that is there is as important as the one we are looking for. And it becomes part of the information I was trying to find. So this is serendipity. And when students are open to change and they are looking for information permanently, they learn by discovery. Why? Because they get different types of information that they become theirs. Now, the question is, why drama activities in learning English? A drama activity is a game, an entertaining activity, and it is a form of play. Remember that play is very important in the development of children. A child starts connecting with the world he lives in when he's 1 year old onwards, between 1 year old and 4, let's say. He becomes in contact with his world through play and by asking questions when he's able to express himself. And play is the opportunity he has to experiment with the world he's discovering every single day. But when he starts school, it is fully present during the initial level in kindergarten, because normally there they play every single day. But what happens when he starts primary school, play gradually vanishes and it disappears. And I insist, because with trainee teachers, I use play and I use drama. It should be kept at all levels, because it is a winning combination. Whenever I speak of drama and children, it is a winning combination. Why? Because they work successfully together. But this play, this ludic capacity that is present in every human being should be kept permanently. And it should be used in secondary school and in higher education, because it is through play that we are able to show our creativity. We have said that a drama activity is a form of play. And play in childhood is very important because it helps the development of cognitive, social, emotional, and physical aspects of the child. It is really crucial in his growth. For this reason, it should be reinforced in primary school, and then to take into consideration the benefits it provides in the other levels. What are the right conditions for drama? Well, we need a physical environment, first of all. Normally, drama requires space, but it doesn't matter if we have got small room, because the idea is the seating arrangement. When we use drama, we don't like the children seated in rows. We prefer different seating arrangements, because when they are seated in rows, they cannot see each other properly, because when we are having a conversation, the conversation is usually face-to-face. We need to know this paralinguistic information I was mentioning in order to interpret what they are saying much better. So we prefer, for example, a horseshoe arrangement, or the students seated in a circle, or group seating. Why? Because communication can take place more effectively. Then we should pay attention to relationships, and for this, social skills should be developed, and the teacher should encourage the use of positive comments and healthy criticism of each other's work. Remember that metacognitive strategies are always present. The students should reflect on their own learning, and they also should consider the work of their peers, because this is constructive. Remember that when they are using this type of strategies, they are improving their learning. Then goal orientation is also important, because the students need to know that they are doing an activity and they have an aim to achieve in a given time limit. This means that they will be able to concentrate much better, and they will be able to organize the activity faster. And then feedback. Feedback should always be present. And sometimes when we are not fond of giving too much feedback, children especially may come to you and say, Miss, am I doing well? Am I a good student? Oh, there, I realize that I'm not using feedback. Oh, yes, my darling, don't worry, you're great. So positive feedback will be a great indicator, and then the little child lives happily because these words have reached his heart. Well, what are the components of a drama activity? Well, there are many components, but if these four are present, great, no problem. You know that it will be successful. First of all, it should promote a contextualized setting. Remember that drama applies what the students learned in a real-life situation, so that they live what they are learning. Of course, communicative competence should be encouraged. That is to say, that the students should use listening and speaking properly, but also remember, when they are listening, they should watch, so that the non-verbal language also should be recognized. What are the components of this competence? First of all, the students will select the words, and of course, they will try to use the corresponding grammar rules. And then the message they have created, they should be placed in a context, in a particular context that is suitable. That's why appropriacy is important. Then the message should be cohesive and coherent, or just cohesive. But these two elements are crucial when we are having a conversation. For example, if my child says, "Mom, where are my trainers?" and I say, "In the drawer," I may say that this is cohesive because there are a semantic link between where and the drawer. And it is coherent because it is meaningful. Now, if I say to the same question, "No idea," it is just coherent because we immediately realize that there is an implicature. I don't know where they are. This is the real meaning of "no idea." Well, so it is not cohesive because there are no semantic or grammatical links. So normally, when we are using, this is what we normally do when we are having a conversation in our own tongue. Well, the students should do the same in the foreign language they are learning. And of course, together with these three elements, communication strategies should be used. That is to say, for example, if the message is not understood, we can use communication devices so as to get the meaning. For example, asking for repetition, reformulation, further explanation, etc. Of course, the activity should include some creativity, no doubt, and critical thinking, so that the activity should stimulate the student to develop their thinking skills. This is very important because remember that it is one of the competencies that should be developed in the 21st century for the type of students that we're having at the moment. And then multiple intelligence, of course. So why? Because we are using their potential. Their potential, remember, that is crucial. And it is really what enhances our classes. I say that a class is full of magic when every student is using their own potential. So every class is different because they are activating what they bring to class. Well, active practice. Well, what am I supposed to do when I decide to use drama? Well, I cannot start a class without a warm-up. A warm-up is a physical preparation. Of course, that I started using this warm-up when I became involved with drama, because before this, now I think about this type of classes without a warm-up, no preparation. I think that without a warm-up, there is no preparation. The students are not ready to start the class. They are not ready emotionally, physically, and mentally. So when I give this type of activities, I think that they are eager to start the class. For example, breathing. There are two types of breathing, chest and belly breathing. But I normally use breathing for adults, not for children, because they remember that they want action. With children and adolescents, I prefer, for example, stretching, physical stretching. Early in the morning, I may tell them, okay, let's start our physical preparation. Raise your arms and try to reach the ceiling. Come on. Try. And you may yawn if you want. So they stretch physically and they yawn. And imagine letting them yawn before starting the class. For adolescents, this is great. So indirectly, I'm preparing my students for the process of learning emotionally, physically, and mentally. Some both may be present because we are in a language class and they are dealing with a foreign language, so some workout for our articulators is great. So there is a great variety of activities that may help us train our articulation muscles. Brain coordinator is also very important because this type of activity alerts the brain. So the brain gets ready for the process of learning. Well, children love this type of activity. They have lots of fun, but adults too, because I use this type of activity with all type of students, and they have a great time, really. And brain breaks, they are not so common, but they should be. Why? A brain break is or occurs when, for example, we are working very hard and I realize that the students have been concentrating on a particular task for a long time. So I decide to stop the class in the middle of their work. So let's stop and have a break. And I play some music and they may listen to it in a relaxing way so as to recharge energy, or they may listen to music and start dancing, for example. Or we can do any activity in which they relax, their brains have an opportunity to relax too, so as to start again full of energy and finish the activity. Once I finish this warm-up, I normally take 5, 8, no more than 10 minutes. And I know that they work because usually, especially with children and adolescents, when I am called by the secretary or I come to class late because I have had a parent conference, suppose, or some incident has occurred, and I'm a bit late, they may say, Miss, and the physical preparation? Oh, sorry, not today. Or probably I reduce the time because they ask for it. And of course, if they ask for it, I cannot say no. Well, what are the types of activities that I can do when I'm using drama? There are two. Verbal, in which the students are using all the components of speaking and listening. And remember the non-verbal communication that is crucial also in this type of activities. That's why they are divided into verbal and non-verbal. Well, I have included some activities. Of course, there is a very great variety of activities. I have included here the most important ones. A discussion. For example, in a discussion, the teacher gives a topic and the students are free to use their creative and critical thinking. And they have the possibility to express their own opinions, to make decisions, a great variety of thinking skills at present when they are discussing. Of course, that this is for higher levels, not for beginners. Well, in the case of a role play, the students take on different characters. In this case, they, for example, imagine that I select two students. Okay, you are going to be a king and you will be a peasant. And the topic is the problems they are having in harvesting. That's why the peasant wants to have a conversation with the king. So they need a script there. And also, they have to create a special setting. That's why props and... can you hear me? Because I'm listening to some noise.
Yes.
All right. Okay. I can see you. That's why. It's difficult to speak when we cannot have a face-to-face conversation, at least through the screen. But anyway, if you are listening, that's great. Okay. Well, so in this case, the students may use some realia props, and they are fond of wearing costumes. They enjoy that. And even I have tried this with trainee teachers at teacher training colleges, and they are so motivated that they not only create a special setting, they also are fond of wearing costumes so that their performance is really very, very creative, and it is the costumes they are using are an indicator of the setting that they are creating. Well, intrinsic motivation, again, is permanently present. Well, then we have a simulation. In the case of a simulation, the students are themselves. They do play themselves. This means that they, for example, two students. One is a customer who has bought a dryer, and another student is an assistant, a shop assistant, and the customer goes to the shop and he makes a complaint because the dryer doesn't work. They act out real-life situations. Well, and there they use the language they have at their disposal. So according to the level, they will use the language they know. And they also, this type of activities show them how well they can use the language. Well, another activity is brainstorming. Brainstorming is the best known technique available for creative problem solving. In this case, the students are giving a problem to solve, and they start providing different ideas. And we cannot say that one idea is better than another. All of them are participating. Remember that in drama activities, all the students are participating. All are contributing something to the activity they are doing. Then improvisations. Well, this is especially for higher levels when you have a good command of the language, because the students are giving an instruction, or they are giving a topic, or they are told what they are supposed to do, and they start, after the instruction, they start speaking immediately, so that there is no time for preparation. Normally, with all the other activities, they have time to organize their ideas. Well, I use improvisations with trainee teachers, and well, it is a way of improving their language, because they are supposed to have a good command of English. So this activity is a good test for them. Well, group story. I love group stories because the students have the opportunity to unleash their imagination collectively. In this way, they may sit in a circle, and each student adds something to the story. For example, I may start, or a student may start and say, once upon a time, there was a king. Then another student says, and he wanted to be a peasant. Oh, a peasant? Yes. And he consulted an advisor. And then they go on and they create a story that is shared by the whole group. Then a mini play. Sometimes when the students read a story, they may create a mini play so that they perform what they have read, for example. Or the teacher may give them a skit and they deliver a performance. The idea is, as you might have noticed, creativity is always floating in the air. What about nonverbal activities? Here, no word is allowed. The first type of activity that I usually give my students is a gesture list. Here, the students work in groups, and the instruction is that they need to think of many gestures as possible. For example, a wink, a shrug, a nod, a thumb up, down, and then they talk about the selection that they have made and the use of these gestures in a context. So in this way, they become familiar with, of course, we are familiar with it, but the idea that they should become meaningful when speaking English, so as to get the meaning of what is being expressed in the message. Remember that it is not just the words, it is what is not words. Body talk. Body talk is also called no talk story, or silent scene. In this case, the students create a story. One group creates a story, and the other group has to tell in words what they have done, what they have created. So a lot of attention is necessary. In the case of charades, well, a charade is a great acting game for all ages. Here, the students act out a phrase without speaking. And then the other group of students should guess what the student has said, in words, of course. Dubbing and miming, well, here the students may watch excerpt of a film, for example, or of a sitcom, and they watch the actors saying the words, paying attention to the body language, to the tone of voice, and then the volume is turned down, and they are supposed to dub what the speakers are saying. At the same time, they may mime them. In this way, they are using paralinguistic information, and of course, they are developed. Opposite emotions. This is a great activity because normally body language accompanies our feelings. If I'm happy, I say, I'm happy. I cannot say, I'm happy. No, I can't. Well, the idea is to express the opposite emotion. For example, they are given utterances in which they have to express that in the opposite. For example, that tomorrow is my birthday. So in an angry way, of course, you are supposed to be happy because you are celebrating life. Well, no, just the opposite emotion. Or embarrassed. Express that tomorrow is your birthday, but in an embarrassed way. So it is difficult, but it is a great way of encouraging expressing emotion through your tone of voice. And then Tpr activities, totally physical response. The students listens to a verbal stimulus and they respond physically. I use this type of activity for all types of students. And well, children love it. The typical one is Simon Says. Children love this type of activity. But I have found that when I use this with my students at college, well, responding physically is a great way of activating their concentration. Well, this is the end of my presentation. In advance, I can tell you that I'm very grateful to be here and to say thank you to you. And now I would like to listen to your questions, to see your faces, and have some sort of interaction through the screen. Okay? So what I'm going to do is to stop sharing the screen and to start having a conversation. Do you agree?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good. How can I stop sharing? You guide me, please, because I cannot find any a ver. Okay, here. What can I do here? Oh, great. Hi. Well, now I can see each other. That's great.
Hello,
Well,
hello.
Keshav,
Thank
hello.
you,
No, thank you.
Patricia. It was wonderful.
Okay, well, I'm glad that you
Yeah.
have enjoyed it. Now, the idea
Yes,
is
yes.
to start talking, okay?
Okay.
Any
Ready?
questions? I'm welcome to listen to your questions.
Sure.
Any questions?
Yeah, if you go to the chat, there are no questions, but there are lots of very beautiful, very nice words. They're expressing that, suppose there is Asma. Asma is writing there, I read it in a blog, development can only take place when children are
When children are
actively
actively
involved.
involved. When
Yeah,
they
yeah,
occupied with a high non-stop degree of concentration, when they are eaten,
yes.
when they give it themselves completely. All right, yes.
I don't think there is any question, but I think they're sharing.
Someone has written that she has a question for.
See, I have a question.
At the
Can
end.
you read out that, Georgia?
No. She just said that I have a question for you. Is Mamtaz Roxana?
Momtaz? Oh. Momtaz, can you just unmute yourself and put your question?
Probably she's not here or he's not here.
Momtaz, you are
He's
still
here.
not
No.
unmuted.
Yes.
Unmute.
Unmute yourself. Momtaz.
Well, okay. Okay.
Momtaz, just click on the middle of your screen, and on the bottom you'll see three buttons. Yeah, there is unmute button.
Are you talking to me, Keshav?
No, I'm talking to Momtaz. Momtaz.
Okay.
She's talking, but we are not hearing because she is still not unmuted.
She can write the question in the chat box, maybe.
Momtaz,
Okay,
can you write the question?
So write it, or it may be oral. If he can't speak, it may be written.
You have to unmute yourself, Momtaz. No, you are still not unmuted. You have to unmute yourself. I cannot do that from here. Okay. Yes. Sorry, everybody has a problem because most of you are familiar with Zoom.
Yeah.
And in my case, I often use this Google Meet. So I troubled you a lot. Anyway,
Okay.
Mamta, you go with your question, please.
Okay.
First of all, thank you, everyone. I'm Mamtaz Ruxanata, assistant teacher, Badamiri Shaja High School from Bangladesh. I think that first of all, thanks to Patricia, Arbona, good presentations, and this is informative and effective learning, and especially from this session, I have gained more informative and effective knowledge. In this stage, I think that the world epidemic, the whole world is world epidemic is going on. The schools, most of the schools are closed for a long time. As a teacher, as an educator, in this time, I have launched online live class, the harmful my students. In this case, I have a questions from Patricia Arbona. How it possible the online live class in acting, learning acting?
Using drama, you mean? Well,
Drama.
yes. Well, when we know that we are using drama online.
Online live class, yes.
Yes. Well, you know that we are in a special situation, as you have said, because all of a sudden we started having online classes. And of course, as I said, when I started, it is impossible to create this pleasant atmosphere that I'm missing a lot, because I cannot connect with my students because there is no contact, because they are on a screen. So this rapport that is normally established is not present here. But anyway, we try hard, of course, to create a sort of connection. At the beginning, I thought that it would be impossible for me to use drama online. Well, but of course, it is possible. The thing is that we cannot move a lot, because not all the students have the possibility of having a computer, so they use their phones, so the vision is restricted. But anyway, we remain seated normally, and we do different types of activities. The preparation, for example, the warm-ups are present. All the coordination activities are present. And the activities are oral, of course, because drama deals with oral activities. The thing is that when we are online, they do not have to get together and organize their ideas because they are separated. So mainly I work with trainee teachers. So improvisations are the ones that are normally used in my classes. So that they have to speak on the spur of the moment, or I may give them a topic for the following class. Well, for next class, imagine that you are in a fantasy land and you find a wand. So let's create a story for that. And it is a group story, because everybody, I mentioned this as one of the possible activities in the classroom. So they have the possibility of creating individually. So this is what I normally do, because there is no possibility of working cooperatively during the class because we are online. But it is, we can do amazing things, although we are separated. Of course, that we hope that one day we will come back to class and we will have the opportunity to be together and to share many things. Okay? Thank you. Thank you. Any other question?
Thank you for it. Thanks.
There's a question in the chat box, Patricia.
Yeah, wait.
You want me to read it for you?
Yes, but my computer needs energy. Wait a minute. I need to connect it. I didn't realize. I was so concentrated on what I was doing. Sorry for this.
It's okay.
Yes. Okay, thank you. Now I'm ready. Yes, read that to me, please.
Okay. How can we make the shy students active to participate in drama as they hesitate to contact in front of the class?
Yeah, normally we have shy students, but the problem is that normally mistakes are punished. We still are having this traditional idea that mistakes should be punished. And besides, the type of education that we are having at the moment, we have marks, we have grades, and the students are evaluated according to those marks. In a way, those marks are an indicator that they have learned some contents. So if they do not pass, they indicate frustrations on the part of the students. That's why they prefer not to talk, they prefer not to participate, because they're afraid of making mistakes. So normally, when I use this type of activities, we have shy students. Naturally, we may be shy at home and at school. But what we do is, when we work cooperatively, they are together, and probably that shyness may become weakened because all the members of the group are helping each other to be active, to participate, and they need to know that mistakes are allowed. I think that sometimes the students are shy because mistakes are not allowed, so they prefer not to talk. Especially because sometimes, as I said before, the mistakes are corrected abruptly, immediately after they are committed. So they prefer not to talk because they feel frustrated. And when they feel disappointed, they prefer to do something else. They are in the classroom physically, but not mentally. So if we encourage them to commit mistakes, probably that shyness may vanish. Yes. A ver, there is here another. May No, I can. Can you read any other question?
There is no other question for the time being. Just Asma said that maybe the shyness could be reduced if they participated in smaller groups.
Oh, yes, of
rather
course.
than in a big group.
No, of course. The teacher is always assessing the groups, and she decides according to because, as I said before, each group is unique. For this reason, it is very important to know my students, because according to their styles of learning and to their potential, I will be able to organize my activities. So if they are shy, okay, I need groups that are reduced. Yes? My question is, now I want you to listen to me, because I had a question. Are you familiar with drama? Have you ever used drama? You know about it?
Yes.
Okay, that's good, because a bit, yes. Well, the idea today, as it has become, remember, a dynamic driver of the 21st century learning, because it promotes the skills that the students need in order to get strategies for the present and for the future, because the strategies that he's learning now will be used through his life. So gradually, I think that drama is the tool to be used, because students of all ages have great fun while they are learning. So it is enjoyable. Okay, any other question?
Patricia, I could see there is a question by from Suku Tamang. She's writing, some students are reserved in nature. How can we encourage them, mainly preschool children, to take part in drama? I think some part of this question is already answered, but can you elaborate at how to encourage the preschool children? And another question is there. During history lessons, we have shadow theater.
I cannot see them.
Yeah. Yes. If you just go to.
Some students are here. I have one. Some students are reserved in nature. How can we encourage them, mainly preschool children, to take part in drama? Well, for preschool children, it's easy, because play is part of their lives. They cannot conceive life without play. It is said that play is children's work. Children are permanently playing, and when they are not playing, they are trying to find something to play. So for children at kindergarten, drama and play, both of them are part of the learning, and they feel comfortable because they are doing what they do at home normally. No problem. The thing is that school is responsible for this lack of play as students grew older, because, as I said in my presentation, play gradually disappears. And I insist, we are responsible for keeping drama alive and play alive throughout all levels. All levels. English is the barrier for non-native. Well, I'm reading at random, no? English is the barrier for non-native students to participate in drama. What's the opinion? What's the option for them? No, the idea is that they learn English, a foreign language, just in a fun way. They learn the language in a positive environment, which is inviting them to learn. We are, all of us here are non-native speakers. We do not, English is not our mother tongue. When we started learning the language, for example, in my case, and in yours too, we were not offered, our teachers did not offer drama to us. So here, English is not a barrier at all. When we start learning English, when we are children, it's easy for us. Suppose then our mothers send us to a language school to learn English because she wants us to know, to communicate effectively. Okay, when you are an adult, you need English, and you decide to take some language classes. but it will never be a barrier. In the case of an adult, it may be difficult, but on the contrary, while he realizes that it is possible to learn English in this way because he's motivated and all the emotions are present and he's prepared physically, mentally, and emotionally, he starts enjoying the classes, even if he started thinking that English would be difficult.
Okay,
Have I
thank
answered my
you.
question correctly?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
perfect. Yeah, and okay, with these questions, I think we need to. Yeah, there is a question from Kshitiz Nepal. May I add something on online presentation of drama? Sir, what do you like? Do you want to present?
First of all, good evening, everybody,
Please, sir.
especially
Good evening.
Patricia, ma'am. Good evening from Nepal, ma'am. So I refer to the question of Mumtaz, ma'am, from Bangladesh, who was perhaps asking how to incorporate drama in this context of pandemic when physical presence of student is not possible. Fortunately, right now, Keshav sir has made some arrangement for us Nepalese students as well as other students to be a part of a global movement called MRT, Matrix Readers Theater. I think Georgia ma'am is also here from that group. What we do in that group is we prepare some kind of script of a certain drama. Then we assign certain kinds of role to particular participants. For example, somebody might play the part of king, somebody might play the part of queen, somebody might play the part of suppose donkey, and so on. And online acting can be done even through Zoom or Google Meet or so on. So fortunately, right now this exercise is being practiced through Matrix Readers Theater, in which Keshav sir is playing very much important role for us Nepalese students, and Georgia ma'am is also there. And at the same time, if you allow me to present my screen, I can simply show you a sample of how we do it. May I present my screen, ma'am?
No, you are Keshav. You are the one who should decide. Yes, of course. I don't know if he's if he's
Yeah,
allowed. I don't know.
let's see. Yeah, Kshitiz sir, make it very short anyway. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, sir.
So the idea is that he's using drama to consolidate knowledge. So this is the purpose of drama, to consolidate knowledge. It's not to present new material.
I'm not presenting material, ma'am. Simply, I'm going to show some of the ideas. For example, this is the drama which belongs to our social studies and other curriculum in Nepal. And this is the story of unification process in Nepal, how there were many problems in the unification process in Nepal, and how king overcome all those barriers, and a greater Nepal was possible. And this is the drama that appears mostly in the school curriculum of Nepal. And this is the drama we often practice in our school. And for some time, we have been part of MRT family by the grace of Keshav sir and Georgia ma'am. And this drama we are practicing online as well, ma'am. So there is some kind of format of MRT, and I have tried my best to present our drama in that format. And you can see many things here. For example, there are certain rules. Narrator 1 is there, narrator 2 is there, narrator 3, king, Guru, Prime Minister, BC Nagarse, and so on. So we assigned this role to particular students even online. Somebody can play the role of narrator 1, somebody can play the role of narrator 2, somebody can play the role of Guru, and so on. And last time we demonstrated it in MRT, and from that point onwards, we are practicing online even in our school as well. So it has been very successful experiment in our online experiment also. So I simply want to say, ma'am, that even online practice of drama can be done. Okay, thank you very much, ma'am.
Of course, yes. Well, what we are doing is recreating history so that they are consolidating the information in an active way. That's great. That's great. So the idea is, in this case, the students are following a script. Well,
Yes.
this is the first step to allow them to be creative and let them create their own scripts, taking into consideration what they have learned. And that would be
It is.
great, because there you will be able to check how much they have learned. Well,
It is quite.
congratulations on your work.
Thank you, ma'am. It is quite obvious that drama can be physically done in school, but drama can be presented even virtually. I was
Yes.
simply,
Yeah,
I
yes,
was simply
yes.
pointing out to
That,
that, ma'am. Thank
yeah,
you, ma'am.
that was a wonderful job, and he had also presented that in one of the session of MRT. Here we have Georgia Maneta, our international coordinator of Scrabble Club Pokhara,
Yes.
all from Greece, and she's a new international coordinator. Anyway, we have I have already told, and Bhawana had already described about the international coordinators and district coordinators, advisors, and executives of Scrabble Club Pokhara. Although we are very new to this work of education and learning in Nepal. Today, it became a very historical event, very nice event for Scrabble Club Pokhara, and it has brought us together from from all over the world, I think, because we are here from different countries, and I could see that all of us are very enlightened about the use of drama, and how drama can creative drama can become very useful and can be applied in our classroom situation, and how we can make our students very creative, and how to celebrate their potentialities in the learning process, you know. So I am very personally, I am very happy to see you all, especially from different countries, my dear friends. And although we were just sharing with each other in the messenger group, and in some platforms we were together, but today we are all here. I'm very happy to Patricia. You did a very great job. I don't have any words to express my heartfelt uh, thanks to you personally, as well as on behalf of Scrabble Club Pokhara, and the all the teachers and all the parents and all the students of Nepal, the country of Mount Everest and birthplace of Lord Buddha, you know. And we are very happy to see you all here. I feel that this is just the start of the journey for the learning process, you know, how we can contribute, how can we collaborate with each other for better learning situation, better learning environment in Nepal. To conclude today's program, I'd like to request Georgia Maneta, but before Georgia, I just want to say thank you all for joining, and I just want to inform you that you'll be receiving your e-certificates most probably by tomorrow, and I'm also going to issue a certificate to Patricia as well. So and in the certificates for all the participants there is signature of Patricia too. So this will be one of the keepsake for you. And now finally I'd like to request our international coordinator from Greece, Georgia Maneta, to end this session with your conclusive and reflective notes. And as you all know that she's already a part of MRT, and she may be saying something to give you a hint about what is MRT. Thank you very much. Over to you, Maneta. Georgia.
Thank you. You have said so many things that I'm starting feeling embarrassed right now. Okay. Thank you all for being here. Thank you, Scrabble Club Pokhara, for this amazing session. Just two things about the MRT, and then I'll conclude. The MRT, the Matrix Readers Theatre, has been developed online. It started by Tracy Hanson, an American educator, during the difficult period of COVID lockdown. She started reading for herself and to herself during, live on her YouTube channel, and then one after the other, people came and started, discussing and reading. Today, we are having more than 100 members registered in our email lists. We get around 20 people every time in our open sessions. Keshav, if you want, afterwards you can send to Patricia the link to the Zoom for Monday's session, for example, if she wants to attend. Okay. It's a good way for both youngsters and adult students of English to interact, because the only medium of communication in this global family is English. So I can't speak, for example, Nepali with Keshav. I have to speak with him in English. And it feels that nobody is intimidated in there, because we are all accepting people the way they are, the mistakes they are making. And after they read the play, we are engaged in discussions. In this way, they practice their English and they learn more about each other, about the play itself, and why not gain general knowledge about the world. I don't want to tire you more. If you need more information, you can ask Keshav and he can come back to me. I would like to say that as soon as Keshav asked me to finish this session, I started taking down some notes. And the first thing that we should always remember is that drama equals creative play. Unfortunately, play has been eliminated by schools because of formal institutions and stuff. If we try to introduce drama into our schools, our kids will be happier, freer, anxious-free, etc. So remember that drama equals creative play. Try to play with your kids, with your students, and also, if you as teachers decide to become drama facilitators, you also become lifelong learners, because you have to learn to cooperate with your students. This means that you have to get away of the comfort zone and try to experiment with your students and with yourself. Last but not least, I think Patricia's presentation was amazing, and it can be used as an excellent introduction for someone who is ready to begin implementing drama in his or her classroom. So Patricia, thank you very much. It was an enlightening presentation for every one of us here. Keshav and Scrabble Club Pokhara, we are waiting for more to come.
Okay, well, I'm very happy to be here today. It has been a pleasure to share my experience with you, and my idea is always to share information and to strengthen bonds around the world. This is my mission. I have visited several countries during this pandemic crisis, and